Which episode are we on, by the way?
12.
12, yeah. Okay. Welcome to Defen, episode 12. We lost count there. It's such a big number.
I think after 10, everything is a blur for us. So we don't care anymore. We're like, we've been there forever. So in internet history, in internet age, I mean, this is like the granddaddies of Clojure podcast now. So so 12, it's a too big number.
I think what's interesting about being 12, my son is 12 actually.
Oh, wow.
And it's kind of like, it's the one before teenage years. Yeah. And it's always the awkward one. It's like we're a bit preteen now.
Yeah.
Kind of wanting to grow up, but not quite ready for it yet. Wanting a responsibility, but not quite able to handle it.
Yeah. So there'll be a lot of emotional drama from next episode.
Oh, big time. We're going to get very moody, moody.
Our teen years are going to start.
And generally everything will be very unfair. So unfair. Oh my God.
Anyway.
All right, so let's get on to
the show.
Bit of feedback. We got a mention on the REPL by Daniel Compton this week. Mm-hmm. Unbeknownst to us, actually, we've made a few scoops, apparently. In the last episode with Alex Miller, he gave a bit of stuff away, which we should have bigged up a bit more, I think. One of the things was that he said that there could be some extra features in 1.9 that I think was
not revealed before, or nobody knew, at least.
Well, we still don't know, actually, do we? We just know that they're thinking about it.
Yeah.
So whether it actually will come in 1.9 or whatever, that's still open to question, I guess.
Yeah, and also the GA might not be this year for 1.9, so it might go longer in terms of the beta releases.
Yeah, well, I think he was pretty clear about that, wasn't he? So that was a genuine scoop, that one, because the other thing was a little bit, something might happen, something might not happen. So, I can't really claim that one.
Maybe Alex Miller wants to come back to the show. So, he's just leaving some loose ends here and there.
Yeah, it's like one of those series, the cliffhanger.
Exactly. So he'll be back on episode number 22. Because he was in it on 11, and then he'll be back on 22, and that'll be super fun.
All right. Okay. That's a good way of doing it, actually. Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's good. I think that was the other bit of feedback we got was there was a little bit of a quality issue on the sound last time.
Yeah.
With a few clicks and stuff. Yeah. So that was a bit of a shame, but we did try and get rid of it. I think overall it was still okay for I think for most people. Yeah. But it was a little bit of few clicks there, so we're sorry about that. Hopefully this one will be back to normal, and we're going to watch out in the future for those kind of things, because it's very easy to clean up most artifacts on the audio, but if you've got something repetitive like keyboards and clicks or whatever in the actual audio itself, it's very difficult for it to clean that out. Anyway.
Yep. But we'll be more careful, and we apologize for the clickety noises.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So let's turn the attention then to what's coming up next in the Clojure world, and of course, the big thing for us is EuroClojure.
Of course.
And we will actually be an official media sponsor of the EuroClojure. We're not actually giving them any money, but we're still an official media sponsor. We're giving them our time and attention, which I think is probably worth more than money, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Giving them our approval and our backing and our full support. So
I mean, getting endorsement from two minor internet celebrities, it's a big deal, I would guess. But I mean, we are super excited to be there, and I think we are going to get a nice place to stand there, and then distribute some goodies to the guys and girls there, the Clojureans. So
I think where it'll be in the exhibit area. Obviously, we don't know the layout of the conference yet, but where all the people are doing their sponsors and exhibits, we will have a table there as well.
So we'll have a huge area where we have the disco ball and everything, and the DJ and a lot of audio equipment and the party and stuff like that. And
And are you going to be wearing your white suit with the flares and
then doing the John Travolta dance?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you'll be recognizable. I mean, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Actually, we have got some clothing, haven't we? Unfortunately, we haven't got enough to give away, but people will see us in our Defen hoodies.
You're saying as if everybody is expecting us to show up there without clothes or something.
Oh God, that would really be bad.
We've got some clothing. Of course, we have got some clothing. We are going to be in clothes there. But yeah, I mean, we got Defen hoodies, but those are right now crew only, unfortunately.
Crew only, yeah.
That's right. So we'll figure out a way eventually to raise enough money to give free hoodies to everybody in the world. But for now, unfortunately, you have to bear us in the fancy Defen clothing.
Yeah. Well, actually, I mean, if people do want this kind of stuff, we can always get some feedback on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's relatively easy to do, but obviously we've got a massive audience at the moment, but it's not quite enough to sustain a small T-shirt run. So okay.
Yeah, and also we'll be giving away some nice stickers, by the way. So if people who are sticker aficionados, and as you might have noticed, the folks who are long-term listeners of this podcast, long-term as in the last episode at least, and we have new branding going on. So we got a fancy logo designed by Lubov. She is an excellent designer, and she is also the designer for. She also designed the branding for our Dutch Clojure Day, by the way, last year.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So
good stuff that was.
Yeah. And so we have this new logo stickers, and of course the hoodies, the exclusive limited edition crew hoodies that are basically for just Ray and I, and maybe one more. I think we'll see. And we got some mugs, I think, to give away to the people who participate in Defen during the conference. So
yeah, a few little bits and pieces there.
Yeah.
If we've got any leftovers, we'll distribute them amongst the well wishers.
Yeah.
So okay.
I have a quick.
Go on.
Well, not an announcement though, but. So last year we had this Dutch Clojure Day, and we are now planning for the Dutch Clojure Day 2017 in Amsterdam. So we just kickstarted the discussions on how to organize the event, etc., etc. And for people who don't know, I met Ray at Dutch Clojure Day, and I think the Defen was a result of Dutch Clojure Day ranting during the lunch. So
that's right. Yeah.
So
it was conceived there. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an interesting thing happening. So more details will follow up pretty soon, I think. The organizers are getting around and then trying to figure out how we're going to announce it, etc. So keep your tweet feed refreshing.
Yeah, that was a good event, though. I mean, it was really it was very bijou, let's say.
Yeah.
But it was well attended.
Yeah.
A couple of good sponsors.
Yeah.
Very friendly crowd. I got to speak to a lot of people there. I was, probably the first conference I'd been to where I spoke to, more than like 2 or 3 people outside of the people that I knew.
Yeah.
But actually, we've got a few people coming from Belgium. In the Belgium Belgium meetup group, the co-organizer Stain is coming, and I've got a few guys that I know also from the group and from work that are Clojurians now.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to say Clojurian, by the way? I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think so.
Screw it. That's what the Slack's called. So why not?
It's Clojurians or Clojurians. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I get some confusion in the world about what we're allowed to say. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So
it's
screw it. We're calling
it's our show.
We call it what
exactly.
All right. So good. And so those guys are coming, and then I'll see you there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see a few of the few listeners, etc. So it will be quite nice. It will be quite a big crew, I think.
Yeah.
Which will make it more of a fun event for me, for sure, and hopefully for all of us. Yeah.
Of course. I mean, we are looking forward for it. I mean, last year organizing it has been tremendous fun. I mean, we had super fun, and we had lots of generous sponsors to make sure the event is happening. And so this time we're still planning ahead. We got plenty of nice feedback, so we'll keep the same kind of vibe at the event. That's the idea. So anyway, so so obviously this episode we don't have any guests or anything. So as you can see, this is going on in the events theme. So we thought it would be nice to discuss or do a kind of a pre-EuroClojure.
Well, before we go there, actually, we've got one more thing to announce. Or at least I've got one more thing to announce, which is
one more thing.
One more thing, just a quickie. Is there's we're going to do a Def Ray episode. It's an unsession on the evening, and we'll put a link to the GitHub page. You have to edit the GitHub page and add your name. Okay, Vijay, you have to do that. And,
yes, I will.
And I know if you're removing people, okay. But so far we've got some people, so I'm hoping it should just be like 10 minutes in between the other sessions. So it's not going to be an hour long of this craziness, but it should be like a fun 10 minutes. So if you can add your name to that would be good. If any listener can add their name as well, that would be great. And just like I said, just edit the GitHub page and put your name there, and a bit of support would be great. All right, thanks. So back to the EuroClojure this is preview.
Preview, pre-EuroClojure edition. It's like, whenever a big event happens, there is going to be some pre-event discussions online and everything. So we thought this is going to be a nice timing for talking more about what is upcoming in EuroClojure and what are the main themes. And probably, I think there are around 300 plus people will be showing up at EuroClojure. That's what I read on EuroClojure Slack, by the way. So it's going to be a fantastic event, we hope, and I'm really looking forward to being there. And so we thought we'll just go through what is going to happen at EuroClojure, and give a gist of, or at least what we are looking forward to. So one of the main themes of EuroClojure seems to be spec this year. I think almost three announced talks about spec. So there is one, of course, the keynote by Karen Mayer about Clojure Spec, which is genetic programming and beyond with Clojure Spec. And Karen Mayer is, of course, the author of Living Clojure. That's a very nice entry level, or the beginner Clojure book. So that is one thing. And the other one is by Simon Belak, I think. I need to look it up, by the way, to make sure that I'm pronouncing it correctly.
It's always tricky, I think. We just go with the names and just do our best.
I
think it's Belak. It's tricky, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Simon is easier. Simon.
It's Simon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
or is it Simon? We'll go with Simon.
Simone. God, he's gonna punch me now. Sorry, Simon. Anyway, he was also
he's going to live with spec. He has to live with Defen as well.
Exactly. And by the way, he gave a very nice talk at Dutch Clojure Day about big data and Clojure last year. So I'm looking forward for his talk about spec at EuroClojure. So that is one, and the other one is bare metal Clojure with Clojure Spec. This is a bit more interesting for me. I have no idea what bare metal is. Probably converting Clojure into C. That's fairly interesting. So this is something that I'm looking forward to as well. So there are basically 3 Clojure Spec talks that are announced. And there is a keynote by David Nolan, and I don't see it being announced. I'm kind of well, it's just one more week to the conference. Please tell us already.
I think he's going to write it on a plane over there. It's a long way from wherever he is in New York over to Bratislava. So I think he's either going to write a whole new version of ClojureScript on the plane over there, or he'll just write his speech.
Maybe he's going to announce
such a profuse guy,
Yeah, and maybe he's going to announce one of those secret features, live to the audience.
Oh man, yeah, that could be a mega scoop at EuroClojure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So basically 3 different talks about spec, and so that means like spec is going to get a lot of attention there, I would suppose. And what else do we have? We also have some interesting talks about Clojure interaction with the outside or non-Clojure stuff. So we have one talk about Clojure with Datomic with Scala, right? God.
Well, yeah, but that I mean, I think we have to think of Datomic as Clojure, so
Yeah, pretty much.
Although it's bundled up in Datomic.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy Peter Brachwitz, I guess, is doing a talk about combining Scala with Datomic.
Yeah.
Which should be interesting because I know a few people have tried it, and it's not always the easiest thing to do. So
they had scars.
Scar. Yeah, I get it.
Scala, scar. So, combining Datomic with Scala, that seems a bit adventurous. So I'm curious about how this is going to be. And I see a lot of different speakers. I mean, apparently Peter is just like me. He is currently working software mostly in Scala during the daytime. And after work, he's programming in Clojure. So essentially like me, I would say. I mean, night Clojure and then day in Scala. Pretty cool stuff. And the other one is about Clojure with Spark. See, machine learning, Apache Spark, which is what I'm familiar with a bit. And I'm curious about what this talk is about, because he also talks about, he's also going to talk about deep learning for J, which is not Spark, by the way. So it's both machine learning and Clojure. So cool stuff. And he enjoys writing Clojure, Elixir, Idris, Ruby, and Swift. Oh man, fun stuff. So this is like a really polyglot programmer. It's Eric Weinstein. Hulu. Oh, Hulu is the online video platform thingy, right?
Yes.
Is it still alive?
It's like,
okay. Oh, no.
Isn't that one of those ones which is made by the channels, Hulu?
Yeah, I think so. Fox or I don't remember who is that though. I thought it was Fox.
It could be because we're the equivalent of Fox networks now, aren't we? With the Clojure thing, Vegetarian Fox network.
Yeah, Vegetarian Fox network or Fox network of functional programming, like
relentless output of biased opinions.
Why Clojure is better and everything else sucks.
Yeah,
yeah. I think Rupert Murdoch will be happy to buy us out.
One of these days. Yeah.
And then we'll give hoodies to everybody for free.
Yes. That's a good strategy.
We'll be super rich. Maybe we should put that as a tagline. I mean, Fox News of functional programming or something like that.
Let's not do that. I mean, that would be trolling ourselves. I mean, I don't want to associate with those people. It's funny as a joke, but I don't want to do that for real. The other one is, which is quite interesting for me, I think for generally everyone, is this automating resilience testing with Clojure and Docker.
Yeah,
I think Docker will be obviously it's very big in the in the IT world these days. Everyone wants to be able to make it easier to put together your applications, put it in a container, and then distribute the versions of that.
Yeah.
So I think actually getting some practicality there, seeing how that works. It's interesting to think whether Clojure and Docker actually are, kind of like buddies or not really.
Is there a synergy between them?
Yeah, because I generally the goal I think is with Docker is not to give a monkeys about what's actually inside of the container.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see whether he's got any tips and tricks for the Clojure programmers to make Docker a bit more easy. Because I know I've seen a few things on Twitter with people getting fed up with Docker and not liking the way it works. So it'll be interesting to hear from Daniel about how. Yeah. What his experience with Docker is, seeing if it's actually a smoother path than some other people in the community.
Yeah. I think I've been using Docker a bit, but the most painful part is the data management with Docker. I mean, that is something that's missing in Docker because the Docker image doesn't have the data with it, and it's an external volume that you need to attach every now and then. So application delivery is fairly fun, but of course this is about testing. So I'm curious what this talk is about. And of course, and another thing that I'm really looking forward to is this Neanderthal. Yeah. So that library, which is like taking Clojure to GPU, and I did try it a bit on my Mac some time ago, but it's still, well, some of the OpenCL libraries, they're not really Mac friendly. I had a shitty Mac during those days, but I'm curious what this Dragan Juric is going to talk about. I mean, this is like getting the high performance out of Clojure. So using the GPUs, that would mean that this is like a fundamental library, in my opinion, to bring in like things like TensorFlow and those kind of things into Clojure. So it'll be super fun to have.
Yeah, actually, we're doing one of the motivations for a little project I did at my old job now.
Oh, by the way, congratulations on your new job.
Oh, well, it's just slipping it in the middle here. Why not? I finally I was working for 11 years with this with Toyota Motor Europe, and it was a great job. But now I'm going to work for an American bank. Actually, I'm going to go from motors to money
to the dark side, the banks.
To the dark side, the banks.
Wow, I'm also working with a bank now. You have moved to a bank, so this is basically bank.
Sell bank stock, everybody. That's what we could say.
This is your final warning.
Sell banking stock.
This is your final warning. We warned you. Okay.
Yeah. But it should be interesting because actually one of the things we're talking about is how can we do certain things. So I'm hoping that although I didn't quite manage to bring Clojure in at my old job, there are some people working with Clojure there, and there's some projects coming up that might be using Clojure there too, and even Datomic. Just as I'm leaving, we've managed to get some mind share around that area. So I'm going to keep in touch with those guys. Don't worry. We'll be in the Belgian user groups, and we'll get some information about that. Anyway, so one of the subjects about that was to talk about matrix maths, actually, because one of their projects is to do drawing comparisons. I don't want to go into the details of it, but it actually is quite a GPU intensive process. And one of the things we were looking at was the matrix maths, and actually this library here that Dragan is going to talk about is interesting. He mentions that it could be interesting. So if there's some some matrix maths there that we can take out of it and actually get some benefits on that project, that would be a nice win.
Yeah, and I'm also curious about maybe he'll do a quick comparison or something, because I remember he was doing some benchmarking, and then there was a discussion around comparison with core matrix and his library Neanderthal. So it'll be nice to hear from him directly and then ask a couple of questions and understand this better. But I think right now, well, he has a black belt in Taekwondo, so he should be a bit more careful. So
don't troll him.
Exactly. It's a very colorful. Hey, when he's not working in Emacs, so we have something in common. So that's pretty cool.
Jesus. Are you going to go through the whole list and just look for Emacs users? This is really going to be annoying.
No, I mean, I just found it. I was just going through the list and I thought, hey, Dragan, he works on Emacs. So obviously, he's my kind.
He works in Emacs, not on Emacs.
Yeah, of course.
But actually, there is we haven't really, it's kind of jumping around a bit, but what the hell?
Yeah.
There is an unsession by, since you bring up editors, Colin Fleming is going to do an unsession on a Tuesday evening about cursive. So that could be good for you to go to learn about some modern editing.
Yeah, that's true. So it'll be basically you and him there then? Okay. That'll be awesome. Yeah. So finally the two cursive users getting together. That'll be awesome.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, moving on. No, it'll be good to see you, Colin, if you're listening. If you ever listen, it'll be good to meet up.
Maybe we should get him on the podcast. We'll try. We'll try to rope him in.
Well, we're going to try and have a chat with some of these speakers, aren't we? And we're going to bring the microphones and everything along, so we should catch some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can do a few interviews while we're over there.
Yeah, of course. And what else do we have? I think there is a lot of interesting stuff that is like a more real worldy things, not purely writing, get that stuff from database and then just put it on a form sort of thing. So we have talks about making music by Srihari Sriraman. This is a name that I can pronounce pretty easily, by the way.
Do it again.
Srihari Sriraman. So that's easy. Nilenso. So he's going to talk about making music. So essentially using overtone and Carnatic music. Wow, this is something that I'm super interested in, because Carnatic music is a bit different than the Western music. By the way, Carnatic music is from South Indian music.
Yes, he mentions it.
Yeah, and it is more like it doesn't have, as far as I know. Obviously, maybe he has more knowledge. It doesn't have the same beat-based way of singing. So it uses 22 types of tones instead of just one. So it's a very fun music to listen to. So we'll see how this is going to be. Exciting stuff.
Well, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to hear some different types of music as well.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the kind of thing that we can look forward to to improving the Indian restaurant feel. In Europe. I think they've got one record for all Indian restaurants in Belgium, by the way. So it would be quite nice to have a few different ones. Does that sound bad, by the way? It's not meant to.
I don't know. Maybe that sounds like super racist against Indian music, though.
Jesus Christ.
Oh God, all your music sounds the same. I'm like, yeah, right. But there is somehow a difference between death metal and dark metal and this metal and that metal. And okay, fair enough, I guess.
That all sounds the same as well. But Bach always sounds the same to me. Yeah. Mozart, Bach, and Beethoven's always the same, isn't it?
Yeah. But
it's only Eminem and Jay-Z that are different.
Probably. But
that's what my kids tell me anyway.
Yeah. I was
right. Anyway,
speaking of the different kind of music, I think Chris Ford did a talk about African rhythms, by the way, at Strange Loop. So very, very interesting talk. If you or performance. I mean, I don't know. We shouldn't call this talks anymore, because people are making music live after Sam Aaron doing overtone, and then he's now making music on stage. So this is more like a performance. So
performance art, definitely. I agree.
Yeah. So we'll see. And obviously, from music to saving lives, I think there was a risk, communicating risk reactively. So this is about medical animation. I mean, this is the thing that I liked about EuroClojure last time, or at least a couple of times I was there. Like they're not just about technical things, but they're about that there are talks about real world applications, while rest of the technical conferences are essentially, we made it faster. I mean, okay, fine. And we can talk to multiple databases. We have this reactive now for some reason. That kind of stuff. Right. But in EuroClojure, I see this trend of having this art-driven applications, medical world applications, music and things coming together. So this is I think very unique to Clojure conferences, though. I haven't seen in other places yet.
Well, I think what people want to do, I mean, I don't know. I think there are often like use cases of applications, because I think what that's one of the things about Clojure is that a lot of people accuse it of being, in functional programming in general, I think, they accuse them of being academic languages that aren't useful in the real world, that they're very nice to play with and to do, kind of academic exercises in the background to, play with compilers and that kind of stuff. But actually, that's the nice thing about some of these sessions, to prove that, in the real world, people are making use of this stuff and putting it into production and actually getting value out of it, not just, messing around with the things in hobbies or backroom projects, or just proving bits of tech, like you say. I mean, that's all good, obviously, we want to do that because that's how you get the innovation. But actually, you want to be able to apply that innovation to something, in the real world. And I think this one is an interesting one, because he's using React and ROM, so it's quite modern as well, and it's a bit of a different take from from the ones we often see. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it also.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these are the ones that I'm always curious to hear about, because after some time you get bored with, okay, we can connect to database and fetch data and do some stuff with it, and that is pretty standard stuff these days, and everybody is doing that. And I'm curious about other applications, like computing becoming, much more modern in other places as well. I hope they're not using, like, if you think about medical stuff, man, there is a fairly large amount of closed source software, and then that is basically driven by big companies, and or in the worst case they just use Excel sheet everywhere. So it's so this must be very interesting talk. So we'll see. What else do we have? Any interesting stuff? Of course, there is a large interest in the community building. So Clojure Bridge is one of those amazing workshops for teaching people, underrepresented people in our sector, especially women and other people who don't get enough chance to get into the tech sector, and by get them young. So we are trying to teach them Clojure, and I think Malvin and Arna are going to talk about Clojure Bridge. So we'd love to hear how those things are going. I saw a couple of tweets by Anna Palishka and the people who are organizing these ones in the US. So I don't know how Berlin event is going. So it'd be super cool to hear how they're teaching other people. So
I think it'll be interesting because I guess you have to have a community of a certain size first. I don't know if you've done one of these Clojure bridges in Holland yet.
I don't think so, but we were thinking of doing that. As far as I remember, perhaps we'll reach out to them and then see. Maybe next time we'll see.
Yeah, because we aren't ready to do it in Belgium yet. I don't think we've got quite a big enough community to support it yet. But it'll be interesting to see, and because we want to be ready as the maybe it'll be interesting. We've grown the community, actually, a bit of outreach. That could be another interesting thing to organize one of these things.
No, but
because obviously it's still we're trying to find ways of getting people into programming, but also into Clojure. Give them a good experience first, rather than giving them a sort of crappy experience with Java or something, or Visual friggin' Basic. Give them a nice proper experience. Go straight to the first world, straight to the top.
Exactly. Let's see what else. Oh, of course, speaking of another real world stuff, I think there is a REPL geometric things. I think GeoREPL, interactive geometry with Clojure.
There's a couple of maths things there, actually. There's the interactive geometry with Clojure in that one, which looks really interesting. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be interesting to see how that's, because that's done using Quill, and we were talking about that before the show, and we were saying before the podcast anyway. And we were saying that they're using this Quill library. And that could be Clojure or ClojureScript. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays that. Yeah,
I think at least from the talk description, it looks like this is Clojure, not ClojureScript. But Quill, I use Quill for one of the projects, and Quill is essentially a wrapper around a functional wrapper around processing. That is a famous library for making art. Very, very famous. I mean, a large community. But now they moved to processing.js as well. So they have a JavaScript version of it. So Clojure has Quill, and Quill now supports both Clojure and ClojureScript. So you can use that to generate very nice drawings and stuff, and animation and all sorts of stuff. So it's fairly interesting library. I mean, if people haven't checked that out, I'd really recommend. It's fun to play with it. So this looks like desktop stuff, but we'll see.
And the other one is this live coding of mathematics. With Frederick Pashensky. And I really am going to be kind of like off my head with this stuff, because it's all about dependent types.
Well, this is going to be fantastic talk because it says Clojure and Emacs Cider will serve as learning vehicles. So obviously, there's going to be eye-opening stuff for you, Ray. I mean, you should be there, and finally you'll see the light or the darkness, whatever.
I hope so. Because I'm not a mathematician, so I'll look at your notes afterwards. Okay.
Oh, there is lambda calculus, dependent types. Interesting. This is a. Oh, okay, maybe he'll touch upon the language Coq and
theorem proving.
Yeah. So maybe he'll touch upon those things probably. But this,
I don't know, because this is mostly just looks a bit like Haskell style thing.
Yeah, and also Latte, which is the proof assistant library for Clojure. So.
All right,
this could be super fun. We'll see. But very, very diverse set of talks. So it's fantastic. Okay. And one of my favorites, well, there are a lot of talks that I don't want to miss. And it's nice that it is actually a single track this time, I think.
It's always a single track so far. Yeah.
Not in Barcelona. I was not in Barcelona. In Barcelona, was it single track?
Yeah, it was a single track.
Okay. Then we won't miss any talks then. So that's cool. There is also Clojure and
just have to make sure we don't have too much fun on Tuesday night, because you have to be in for the exciting talk you're about to mention. I'm pretty sure to get our head around Michael Marchik's activities.
1.5. The search queues. Priority search queues, 1.5 dimensional tree search. Man, Michael Marzik has been like this relentless algorithm creating guy for Clojure and ClojureScript. And his talks are like super awesome. And most of the shit flies above my head, by the way. So, but I'll still show up and try to understand. And so he wrote AVL trees, he wrote RRB vector. So maybe something new stuff.
Well, he certainly, makes these big contributions. We were talking about his libraries in one of the prior episodes, and so it would be good. He'd be a nice guy to also talk to on the cast as well, I think.
Exactly,
because he's putting out a lot of libraries, and he's a super smart guy, super nice guy. So
we'll get him on the show, certainly.
We'll get him, like it or not.
And I'm learning a bit of Polish. I think I can. Is he from Poland? Probably.
I don't know, actually. I thought he was not a Polish guy.
No. He is, because that L with a cross, that is Polish sound. It's Michal. So.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna learn a couple of Polish words, and then we are good to go. And he couldn't resist the charm of Indian-speaking Polish and stupid accent. Okay. Cool. So. I think a couple of other interesting things that we can talk about. Taking the ClojureScript into production. That's an interesting talk. So this is going to talk about. I'm going to look up the name, by the way. ClojureScript. Let's see. Yeah. This is Zimpler by Jean-Louis Giordano. Okay.
Yeah. Bit of a mix of Italian and French there, I think. So, and we've probably totally butchered it, but there we are. Yeah.
I think this is like a worst thing to do before the conference. Basically, doing
just insult everybody.
Exactly, and then they'll hear it and they'll be coming and then beating the shit out of us, and we'll be like very recognizable with the special edition hoodies, so we can't even escape.
Oh Jesus! Okay, yeah, we'll have to turn them inside out, I think.
Anyway, Jean-Louis. So he's going to talk about a mobile payment company. Interesting. Building a spa, how they moved it to which libraries? Reframe. Oh, cool. Reframe and Gulp. So this is one of those practical talks, I would guess.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting as well, because if he can do this fig wheel stuff, maybe he's going to do some live coding. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for him, but it would be interesting if he does. And you'll like it because he's also an Emacs adept.
Yeah. I'm just checking.
You're going to be sit there waiting with bated breath at the front row, Emacs.
Giggling all the time.
Show me Emacs.
There are 3 mentions of Emacs on the page already. So, yeah. Let's see. Cursive. Nope. There is no cursive at all. Emacs everywhere. So, So this is going to be essentially an Emacs conference,
Don't depress me.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Did we miss anything?
I think the only one that we wanted to speak about, maybe it's the last one, was this natural language processing one. This from honestly, this would really be interesting for me because we've looked over in my last job. We looked on many occasions to think about how we could do input from the public, from consumers with natural language processing. So I think it would be really interesting to see what this guy's done with this kind of stuff, because it's definitely not easy, especially when you want to do a lot of European languages.
Yeah.
And you can test your Polish again, because he's going to do
Polish,
some translations from Polish.
Exactly.
Although, actually, funny enough, not to undo what he's saying, I actually worked with a guy from Poland, and he reckoned that the most difficult language for NLP was Hungarian.
Oh, okay.
And apparently that's the reference standard for most NLP tools is Hungarian.
Okay.
Because if it can parse Hungarian, then you're good for everything else.
Oh, that's interesting.
But I'm just, will be interesting to talk to him about that. Okay. But obviously, Polish is also what he says. It's a very rich language, so that will be interesting to understand how that fits in.
Yeah.
And it should be good, because NLP is definitely, when you think about Siri and Echo and all these kind of things, one can imagine that NLP seems much more like near future than all this kind of VR and AR stuff, which still seems quite like 10, 20, 30 years away. I don't see those things really breaking into the mainstream, but I think NLP is going to be absolutely huge.
Yeah, I think the whole language processing and speech generation has been fascinating. Did you see the new blog post by Google guys some time ago, like the machine generated speech? It was crazy. I mean, they had all these different levels of the algorithm. So you can clearly see the last one. They're using the newer techniques. They now can convert text to speech or generated speech. It was you can actually feel that, hey, this is not a machine. I mean, it completely sounds like human. And hopefully, I think by 20th episode of DefAn, we can just get one of those programs and then just turn it on and then just say, oh, okay, crappy Indian accent, go ahead.
Some Northern English blog.
Exactly. No, they did that. Yeah. I think we'll post the link in the description for the folks who are listening, and it's a fascinating post, and they could generate near human sounding speech for both Mandarin and English and German, and it's amazing.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's a deep learning stuff. So, I don't understand the math behind it, but I enjoyed all the audio. So,
well, yeah, I mean, you don't have to understand all the math for everything, do you? Yeah, it's a big world, but I would really be interested in see how Clojure fits into that, because like a lot of these things, it's quite interesting to see what the powerful use cases are for Clojure and ClojureScript when you're making the arguments towards to the management, etc. It's always good to know what you can be, what can back you up, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it would be good.
Yeah. So,
well, I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good from all the sort of community perspective. Yeah. Really got some interesting technical talks there. Yeah. A big mix of stuff. Yeah. So,
and of course, there are two amazing keynotes. So one is with David Nolan, and which is to be decided or to be announced, and the other one with Karen Mayer, and I think she's going to talk about self-repairing code. So, awesome stuff. So we just if the program finds a bug and then it's going to fix itself, then we're all out of jobs. So
Actually, I think we should stop her. we should stand around boycotting the speech. We want code. No. We want code.
This is going to be like one of those Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy. It's like when the deep thought is going to tell the answers, and there is a philosopher strike, and
yes,
like a room fondle and magic thighs, I think. Yeah. So those guys are like, what would we do if they are going to give the answers? And
yeah, well, I think we have to. We'll definitely have to stop Karen. I think
exactly. Anyway, cool stuff. So we are very, very excited about EuroClojure, and I'll be driving there, and Ray will be flying in his special.
Are you going to drive there?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I finally figured out. I booked my car, so I'm gonna drive all the way from Holland to Slovakia. So hopefully I'll be in one piece by the time I reach there. I don't know.
But you're driving, it's a 2-day job, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's around, if I drive non-stop like Indian truck driver, this is just one day probably, but I'll probably take some breaks. So the idea is that we'll stop over in Germany a bit, and then later in Czech, and then we'll show up the day before it in Bratislava. And then after a couple of days, we'll drive back via Czech or Slovakia. And I'm just making it up by,
road trip though.
Exactly.
That should be
So
good.
there is no plan. So it's going to be very ad hoc. And then we'll just keep open the REPL and then keep typing and then evaluate and then see where we're going to end up. That's it. So it's going to be very dynamic.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm still got to decide whether to go to this the React conference after the Clojure conference.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be in Bratislava for a few days afterwards, so in theory I could do it. But I don't know. I'll have to play that one a bit by ear as well.
Okay.
See what's happening with the rest of the gang.
Okay. So you'll be there in Bratislava, so I think you'll get heckled by a lot of Clojureans, like all the paparazzi and stuff.
If they have to wear sunglasses afterwards, I think. Yeah,
and a fake mustache.
Yes. All right, mate. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we're just about up on time now.
Yep.
What should we do? Just end it now?
Yeah, I think
while the going is good.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see some of the people from the listeners at EuroClojure, and hopefully you enjoyed this preview, even for the guys that can't make it. Obviously, there'll be videos and this kind of stuff. We might be doing some videos as well. We're definitely going to take the stuff.
Yep.
We might release some of that stuff. There'll obviously be the standard talking videos, the videos from the talks. But we'll do some podcast media stuff as well. Yep. So it should be pretty good from a content perspective for all the listeners to our podcast. And then I guess we'll wind it up there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the next episode will be, post EuroClojure special or EuroClojure special, and this is our 12th episode, and then we will continue rocking, and then we're trying to get a lot of we're trying to get in touch with lots of people who are going to be in as guests on the show. So we are lining them up, or at least we're requesting them to join us. We'll keep you guys posted. So quick credits for the show. So again, we'd like to thank Lubov Soltan, the designer, for our new branding, spectacular designs. So if she can also, I think she's doing freelancing. So if you guys are looking for any designs or stuff, you can hit her up on her Twitter account. We'll post the link. Yeah. And the music for this episode, obviously like every other episode, is provided by Pizzeri. It's called Melon Hamburger on SoundCloud. So don't forget to listen to his music. And so you have a nice flow, right? You're listening to the podcast and then continue on the same trend and then go and listen to his music as well.
Exactly. It's pretty easy. Yeah.
Cool stuff. So that's it from us for this pre-EuroClojure episode. We'll see you at EuroClojure.
Yeah.
Good night.
And take care.
Good day. Yeah.
Cheers, mate. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.